Good morning. I'm Reverend Kristen Powell. Welcome to our Unity of Walnut Creek service.
And I'm Brinley Rada. Welcome to our service.
And happy spring. Yesterday was the first day of spring, and we are celebrating life with a freshly imagined world. It also happens to be my mother's 85th birthday today, so happy birthday, Mom.
Yes, happy spring and happy birthday, Jan. So our stream team with us in the sanctuary today includes our technical director, John, on switch and sound. Shari's on camera, and our production manager is Annie. And of course, behind the scene during the week, as always, at Hard at Work are our music directors, Tyler and Lisa, and our video editors, Peter, Jack, and Shari.
We are so pleased to have Karie Hillery back with us today as our guest artist. Let's join her in her cabin in the Santa Cruz Mountains. She's going to share a song with us called I Let.
Hi, and welcome to Unity Walnut Creek. We're so glad you could join us. I let the love wash over me. 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 I let the truth 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 wash over me. I let the grace 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 wash over me. I let the joy 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 wash over me.
Thank you, Karie. So now let's take a moment and ground in unity. Unity is a positive path for spiritual living. And our vision for the world is, we envision a spiritually awakened world where all life thrives in conscious oneness. And our mission is who we've come here to be. So let's say this together. We are a loving, inclusive community, expanding and living our divinity in sacred service for all. And our core values are love, connection, service, and wisdom.
If you are with us for the first time, welcome. You are invited to fill out a connection card. Connection cards are available for everyone, and they're available on our Watch Live page. You may submit a prayer request on these, and our prayer team will pray with you throughout the week. That gets sent on, by the way, to Silent Unity. You may also share feedback or request information on our connection cards.
So our classes and events are currently held online and by phone via Zoom. Here are a few important announcements and upcoming opportunities.
We're very excited to share that Greg Lavoie, the best-selling author, is returning this coming Sunday, March 28th. He will give the morning message and an afternoon webinar called What Trusting the Universe Really Means. Intriguing. In this webinar, from 2 to 4, Greg will guide you in exploring what trusting the universe means for you and how to build acts of trust in your life. How ultimately trusting the universe may be about remaining in conversation with it.
So you will need to pre-register for this webinar through our website to receive the code to enter. And Greg has created a special invitation to this webinar. So let's watch.
Hello, Unity Walnut Creek folks. Greg Lavoie here, coming to you from Santa Cruz. I hope this finds you in good health and spirits and sanity during these tumultuous times, but also opportune times. And I think one of the opportunities we have is in exploring how this whole pandemic year could be an unfolding process requiring that we trust the universe. But what exactly does that mean? What aspects of the universe are you trusting when you say you trust it? And is this a skill you can build? So toward that end, I invite you to join me and a community of fellow seekers on Sunday, March 28th for both the morning service and an afternoon Zoom webinar on what trusting the universe really means, which is designed to help you explore what trusting the universe means to you and why it may ultimately be a matter of staying in conversation with the universe. So I hope you'll join me on the 28th, and until then I wish you continued safekeeping, and I'm going to sign off now, and blessings.
Would you like to learn how journaling can help you discover more about yourself? Be sure to join us on Wednesday, March 31st at 6:30 for a presentation called Harnessing the Power of Words. It's with Shoshana Kobrin.
Shoshana will share how journaling can spark valuable memories, break negative patterns, clarify priorities, and realize dreams. It can also be the basis for writing a memoir, short stories, poetry, or internet blogs. Pre-registration is required on our website.
And mark your calendars to attend our Good Friday service. That's Friday, April 2nd at 6:30. During this time of spiritual preparation for that profound experience of Easter, we'll make a stop here on Good Friday. And to take part in this meaningful Good Friday service, you will get to be a part of meditation, reflection, chanting, sacred music, all led by our prayer chaplains, myself, and our music team.
See our website for a full listing and login information for all of the events. And if you're not receiving our weekly e-news, use the connection card link on the Watch Live page to sign up.
Following our service today, we invite you to log on to our virtual patio conversation about 12:45. Prayer chaplains are also available to pray with you during that time, besides all the connecting that you can do with community members. You may also want to discuss Sunday messages or go a little deeper off of the message, and you can do that on Tuesday nights in our Spiritual Growth Circle at 7 p.m.
So now as we move into meditation, let's ground with our statement of faith. Let's take a deep breath, settling into our hearts, and another deep breath. Together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God.
Well, let's continue in that meditative space as Terry Curtin signs a reading for us, followed by a song by Karie Hillery, guided meditation and silence.
World peace. I imagine a world transformed by peace and love. World peace begins with my mind and heart. Closing my eyes, I breathe deeply and envision every person bringing forth love and peace of God. I see all the world's people surrounded by a healing light that transforms strife, anger, and division into peace and unity. As I hold this vision, I see the entire world aglow with radiance, harmony, and cooperation. Heal our wounds and encourage love to a flower in each person's heart. I carry vision throughout the day, divine love, expressing as me, sees oneness, regardless of apparent differences. Divine wisdom and understanding brightens my thoughts, inspires my words, and guides me to act in ways that bring peace to the world. Bless all the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Matthew 5, verse 9. And so it is.
Peace be with you. Peace be with you. Shalom, peace. Salaam. Peace be with you. Peace be with you. Shalom, peace. Salaam. Strength be with you. Strength be with you. Shalom, strength. Salaam. Strength be with you. Strength be with you. Shalom, strength. Salaam. Joy be with you. Joy be with you. Shalom, joy. Salaam. Joy be with you. Shalom, joy, Salaam. Love be with you. Love be with you. Shalom, love, Salaam. Love be with you. Love be with you. Shalom, love, Salaam. Peace be with you. Peace be with you. Shalom, peace, Salaam. Peace be with you. Peace be with you. Shalom, peace, Salaam. Shalom, peace, Salaam.
Peace, shalom, salam. 3 different ways to carry the message of peace from the divine, from my heart to yours, from your heart to the next, and the next, and the next. Peace among religions, peace among peoples of all cultures and colors, genders, expressions. In the season for nonviolence, more than anything, we discover the peace within ourselves. Not the peace that is afraid of conflict, but the kind of peace that can stand in the midst of anything: chaos, conflict, challenge, and be unshaken. It is in that foundation that we grow and develop and allow more and more of the divine to be known through us and as us. For these few moments in the precious silence, we let it all rest back on peace. Shalom. Salam. In the silence. from the wellspring of peace within us and the well springs of peace all around the world, and all the beautiful, diverse expressions of humanity, of spirituality, of language, of culture. We are so grateful to be a part of this beautiful world, and to see the harmony coming together from the eyes of peace, from the heart of peace. Peace. Shalom. Salaam. And so it is.
Love be with you. Love be with you. Shalom, love, Salaam. Love be with you. Love be with you. Shalom, love, Salaam. Peace be with you. Peace be with you. Shalom, peace, Salaam. Peace be with you. Peace be with you. Shalom, peace, Salaam. Shalom, peace, Salaam.
Spring has sprung. There are hundreds, maybe thousands of shades of green, it seems. There's an abundance of color as wildflowers begin to bloom. There are rushing creeks and rivers filled with water. It's that season of hope in the sunny days and the cool breeze. It's coming out of that time of dormancy, that time that we have been hibernating, and especially this year with COVID, we're breaking through, we're emerging into this season of spring with a whole new kind of vitality. So imagine, if you would, if humanities and societies, institutions and ways of being could actually be a reflection, a true mirror of Mother Nature. What would it look like if we celebrated ourselves in all our beautiful diversity, like we celebrate nature in all of its beautiful diversity? What would it be like if we really allowed ourselves to see ourselves through the eyes of God as nature? Through that lens of spirit and spirituality and spring, through that lens of new life, we could just reimagine for a moment together what it might be like. In the conscious presence of divine life, things fall away that are in our way. Things like physical and mental ailments fall away in the presence of that light. Our minds and our hearts refuse to play host anymore to things like loneliness and worry and heavy concerns, this idea of problems. Instead, we look through into the light to solutions. A place of loneliness and confusion and struggle, it just seems to open up and ease somehow when we begin to see ourselves in this true mirror of who we are. And as I speak about nature, of course, there are sounds of animals present. Our worldly ways, our old world ways, the words and actions, they fall away. The old ways that attempted to dominate us, to oppress us, to pit us against one another, they disappear. There is no place for racism or sexism or saneism or ableism or ageism or all the isms, because they have become is-nots. And phobias, homophobia, transphobia, Islamophobia, you name the phobia, there's no place for it anymore. They scatter in the presence of divine light, in this kind of true, natural mirroring of the rhythm and the truth of who we are. So ultimately, we are liberated then from that false and damaging idea, that idea at the base and the root of humanity, this false idea that we are separate. And instead, we move to a kind of vision that we offer through our own community, the Unity of Walnut Creek vision for the world, that we are a spiritually awakened world where all life thrives in conscious oneness. Over the past 5 weeks during the Season for Nonviolence, the See No Stranger series, we've touched that truth of oneness time and time again. Oneness is our spiritual home base, essentially. It's when we're eradicating and healing humanity's ailments, that's where we can reach for. We can go back to that foundation of oneness. It's the missing piece when we're in the midst of harmful behaviors or we're acting out against one another. It's the touchstone that helps us redirect ourselves and our society to get back on course. When we've forgotten who we are, love is what guides us back on this path of oneness. Valerie Carr brings the actions and practices of revolutionary love to light for us through her book, See No Stranger, and specifically through a lot of the stories she tells. This story that I want to bring forth today occurred and has a powerful aftermath that you'll see, so stick with me. And this story occurred on August 5th, 2012, in Oak Creek, Wisconsin, a suburb just outside of Milwaukee. Like any other Sunday, a day of worship at the Gurdwara, which is the place of Sikh worship, the people had already gathered. The aunties were in the kitchen preparing the langar, the big meal that would be shared later in the day. The children were running around playing. The men were in their own rooms setting up their turbans, tying them together. There were teachers, a couple of them out front having a chat. And in that process, that is a typical process of a Sunday morning, a man pulled up in a red truck and he stormed that Gurdwara. And he shot and killed 7 people and wounded many more. An officer showed up within about a half an hour of his arrival. He was Lieutenant Brian Murphy. And he took 12 bullets from that shooter before the shooter killed himself. Remarkably, Lieutenant Murphy survived. In the aftermath of this tragedy, the community pulled together in amazing ways that provide an example for all of us of how we can overcome unfathomable tragedies and bond together and support each other and do all the things we've been talking about over these last 5 weeks of this series. They came together and grieved with one another. They listened to each other. They healed their hearts together. They restored their community. Normally, the FBI goes in and cleans up the place. They refused that. They went in themselves. They wanted to tear up those carpets themselves and cover those bullet holes themselves and repaint the place with their own hands and their own hearts and their own love and their own service. And so it was through that they did. And then, not only all that, but they forgave Wade Michael Page, the shooter. Amazing things happened. two boys, Kamal and Harpreet. They had lost their mother in that tragedy. And at first, they wanted to find the white power group who had radicalized Wade so that they could exact revenge. But just in a short period of time, they realized that that's not who they were, and they were supported by their community to remember who they were. And in that remembering, Kamal said, I don't think about that gunman anymore at all. He said, our community is not about retaliation, just love. Pardeep lost his father. He was searching for answers for how in the world did this hate come? What fuels this kind of hate? The kind of question that many of us are asking now, a question we need to be asking now in order to heal what ails us collectively, because remember, we are one. So Pardeep was looking, and he found somebody, Arno Michaelis. He was on TV, and he was speaking about his process of life after hate. He actually happened to be the man who founded the group who did radicalize Wade. And he had since renounced his allegiance, and he was speaking out about why they do what they do and how he moved the process to grasp life instead. He talked about how he couldn't see past the kindness anymore. He tried to hate his gay teacher. He tried to hate the Jewish person that he met. He tried to hate the Muslim. He tried to hate, and every time he was met with kindness, and he just couldn't do it anymore. And so it was through his own transformation that he became a voice for that, and a voice that Pardeep needed to hear. And those two young men got together and began to talk and to listen and to heal and to grow, and they actually became friends. Together, the two of them, along with some other young men, created Serve to Unite, which serves Milwaukee schools. And in the Milwaukee schools, they go in to talk about the process of life over hate and the choices that get made through that process, and the love and the action that we can all take to eradicate it. The police chief in the town, John Edwards, said this: meeting this group, and by that he means this group, this sick group from this community, that it had completely changed him. He talked about all the things he had seen before and all the different scenarios that he had faced and showed up. And he said, all I have seen here is love and compassion and support for the police force, for the city, and even for the shooter. He said, it's changed so many people. And he said, my officers now spend a lot of time at the Gurdwara. They come to service. They come for meals. They come to stop in and to say hello. He said, that is really unusual. Lieutenant Murphy, who miraculously survived those 12 bullets, his voice box is permanently damaged. He can speak in a whisper, but he continues to do the good work. And he was able to speak to this sick community, and he said, my voice has been replaced by yours, Chardi Kala, which means ever-rising spirits. He now trains police officers in crisis response, and he tells them to treat everyone, whether they're pulling them over for a routine stop or there's a big crisis going on, treat them like they're a member of your own family. Imagine if everywhere across the United States and the world that police were trained in that way. They could still do their jobs. They could still be a protective force. They could still use the tools that they need to use to feel safe and to do their jobs well. But instead, they could come from a place that says, treat everyone who you meet as if they are a member of your own family. How things could shift. James Santel is Wisconsin's U.S. attorney. He's become fluent in Sikh concepts and history, and he even speaks a little Punjabi now. Valerie's own organization, Groundswell, delivered to this community a bound book of 4,000 prayers and letters of people from all across the United States so that they could know when things got tough, when they moved back into the rawness of their grief or the feelings of their grief as time passed, that they could open up this book and remember that they are supported as sick Americans. And they've repeated Groundswell, this organization, repeated that process of gathering up all these prayers and letters and sending these bound books to the church in Charlottesville, to the synagogue in Pittsburgh, to the mosques in New Zealand, and anywhere, any worship house where a mass shooting has occurred. At the doorway to the Dewan Hall in the Gurdwara in Oak Creek, Wisconsin, a single bullet hole remains right over that doorway. And below it is inscribed these words, "We are one." When we hear stories like this, and we can feel both inspired and brokenhearted at the same time, we see that there can be a way through even when tragedy, unspeakable tragedies occur. And certainly when that is the case, then in everyday life, when we're met with our challenges and our biases and our uncertainties and our struggles and our fears and anxiety, we can know that there is always a way through. We've literally been given a compass to help us get through. Valerie Carr created the revolutionary love compass that we've been using for these last 5 weeks. And take a look at it again here. And over these weeks, you can see there's 3 basic directions. You can point your compass in the direction of loving others, in the direction of loving ourselves, or in the direction of loving our opponents. And you defined your opponent however it is that you define them. Somebody who has hurt you, somebody who has opposing views, who you're having a hard time navigating, whatever that may be at any given moment. And then we look to the rings that give us ways to act, ways to be love in action. And over these last few weeks, we've wondered, we've grieved, we've listened, we've stood up. Today we're reimagining. Wonder is a practice of seeing no stranger. We can move about the world when we wonder and silently say to ourselves as we meet people, especially when our biases arise, there goes my sister, my brother, my uncle, my aunt, my grandparent, my child. We can say to ourselves, you are a part of me, or to them silently, you are a part of me that I have not yet met. And be curious then. Valerie says that the day I stop wondering about my husband, so we can take this practice home too, the day I stop wondering about my husband is the day that my marriage begins to die just a little. But when, she said, I nurture my curiosity, I feel our relationship revive and flourish. So we can do it at home and everywhere we go, to wonder, to be curious. So we wonder and we grieve. We grieve together. That's a big part of it. Witnessing each other's grief, witnessing each other's pain, creating a space for that, to recognize and honor what has happened. It's easy for us, especially in our New Thought teachings, to misinterpret and spiritually bypass grief. But grief is such an important part of the process. And if we try to leap over it, it isn't effective. There's that wound that's still there, that hasn't been given any honor, any attention, any recognition, any space. And so we give that to each other. One of the things that Valerie suggested to us, you might remember from the week we talked about grieving, is when she spoke about go to public vigils. You don't have to know the people that the vigils are there to represent. You come there to know them. You come there to bear witness. You come there to, as an act of revolutionary love, to grieve with them. And guess what? We've got an opportunity to do exactly that tonight. Tonight in Walnut Creek at Civic Park from 5 to 5:30, there's a vigil. It's for solidarity with Asian Americans. Joanne Finn is one of our members, and she has an Asian American daughter. So she invites you to come personally, to meet her at the corner of Civic and Broadway at 4:45, and to stay for a half-hour vigil, to be in solidarity with Asian Americans who have been targets of violence throughout this pandemic year. We grieve together, we wonder about others and ourselves, and we listen, especially to our opponents. And if we are to be really successful in our listening, we'll veer away from the ideology and the policy and we'll head right for the story. Because it's in the stories of our lives and the listening to the stories of others that we listen from the heart. There's nothing to prepare in response when we're listening to a story. And so we invoke stories of the folks we are listening to by asking, who are you? When did you, first arrive at this idea? What has your journey been like? Tell me more. Tell me more. It's always an invitation for heart listening. And for the sense of, and by success I mean understanding, connection, possibility. Maybe even future collaboration, like the two young men I just spoke of. We listen and we stand up, finally. And not necessarily in any of this is in a linear order, of course. When we stand up on behalf of others and we stand up on behalf of ourselves, we uphold rights and dignity. When we do that, especially when our leaders and our neighbors, our institutions do not, we can be the ones who stand up, who have the courage to stand with one another. And we know that the most powerful way to stand is to remembering that we are not only an ally, but that our liberation is bound up together. That we don't come just as a helper to another, but that we walk beside each other because remember, we are one. And our souls all long to be free. Joe Ma is an Oakland resident. When a lot of this violence was happening, which is continuing unfortunately and has been happening in the Bay Area quite a bit, when it was happening in Oakland, he needed to do something. He wanted to stand up for his fellow Asian Americans, and so he donned an orange vest and he got a bunch of other folks to join him, and they patrol the streets in Oakland, in the Asian neighborhoods, in front of the storefronts. They are a presence of protection, and I would say a presence of divine protection. It doesn't take a lot for us to take action. Simple ideas like these have profound effects for a sense of solidarity, of I'm standing with you, I see you as another human being worthy of the same life that I have, the same rights that I have, the same privileges I enjoy. If standing up for full groups of oppressed people feels overwhelming to you, look to the words of Mother Teresa, who said, and Mother Teresa, if you think about it, who served the masses of the poor in Calcutta, India for her whole lifetime, gives us this advice. If I look to the masses, she says, I will never act. But if I look to the one, I will. So is there one person? Is there one person you can think of right now who might be feeling fearful, that you could reach out to and offer some comfort, some prayer? Is there one person that you could listen to? One person you could wonder about? Somebody you could grieve with or stand up on their behalf? Just one. That's all it takes. And it begins to get us in the rhythm of the other half of our spirituality, which is love in action. So the way of love and the way of peace, it's not complicated. Only our minds make it complicated. I can't do, or I haven't done, or I don't know how. There's plenty of resources out there. There's plenty of training. There's plenty of help. But that's beside the point, really, because we know and hear the truth. And we let that truth of our own hearts guide us in our actions. It is the better way. peace and love, this pathway that we have all chosen, this foundation of oneness. And we can reimagine and live into that imagined, visioned, brighter day. Karie Hillery sings about exactly that. Let's take a moment to listen to what she has to share with us.
If I stand for anything, I will stand for peace, freedom for all people, love within our reach. 'Cause I believe in liberty and brotherhood of man. When lies are passed as honesty, that's when I'll take a stand. And I will take a stand. 'Cause I know there's a better way. And I can see a brighter day ahead. Embracing peace instead. I won't kill my neighbor in the name of anything. I'll be an example of what peace on earth can mean. 'Cause ignorance or innocence can't be an excuse. Be the darkness or the difference, it's time for us to choose. We have too much to lose. 'Cause I know there's a better way. And I can see a brighter day ahead. Embracing peace instead. Are you searching for answers or hiding from the truth? Are you proud of the legacy we're leaving our youth? Is this the best that we can do? I don't think so. 'Cause nothing's solved with anger, violence or greed. Open minds and tolerance are what our country needs. It's what the whole world needs. 'Cause I know there's a better way. And I can see a brighter day ahead. Embracing peace instead.
There is indeed a better way, and today we reimagine it. What would it look like for our individual and collective consciousness to be in full bloom? Maybe something like this. Imagine that we as humans, our beautiful diversity was like this field of wildflowers, because it is. All the colors and the shapes, the sizes, the textures, all part of one field. Swaying together maybe in the breeze of life and having that divine light shine upon us. There are two parts to our spiritual work to remake the world. There's the holding of our spiritual vision, and sometimes having an image like that is helpful. Whatever image comes to you that feels like, yeah, I can return to that. I can put that up for myself and return to that and remember again and again. And then there's the holding of the vision, and then there's the actions, right, to make it so. We need both pieces. We walk toward the fruition of our vision by taking the actions that we need to take, including pushing through our comfort zones. And so our individual and collective consciousness then can come into that full, glorious bloom like we just saw. Valerie writes this: "This revolution of love, it's messy. It's complicated and still underway, and often it seems impossible. But isn't that how social change works?" she asks. 1,000 small acts that don't seem to make a difference until a critical mass bursts through into public consciousness. Today, on the second day of spring, we reimagine this new world, this fully flowered consciousness of humanity. And we can see that all of our diverse expressions sort of move in harmony to the winds of life. We can see the beauty in that. It's easy for us to see the beauty in that. So let's outpicture that for humanity. Let's do the spiritual work that is there for us to be able to image in such a way, in such an open way, in such an allowing way. And it's in that field of consciousness that we are fed by love. If you look with your spiritual eye through that field, you can see that there's a pathway through, and that pathway is the pathway to oneness. So we hold the vision and we act. That's all there is to do. Easy peasy, right? We've walked this path of revolutionary love in this season for nonviolence, and this poem is a tribute to our ongoing work together. It's called Homo Sapien, Earth is Quaking. There's a revolution going on. Can you feel it? Rumbling beneath our feet, Earth quakes. In a world of anxiety and terror, compassion and courage, give us air. Depraved thieves attempt to rob lives, but we stand together, arms linked, road blocked. Satyagraha, soul force. With enormous spirit, slight body, Gandhi led the nonviolent march, salt of the earth. You'll find guides like this at every point, masters, saints, gurus, and post to post, angels and elementals cheering us on to love. Love our earthling siblings stricken with spiritual amnesia. Even after horrific acts and gaffes, love them still back to wholeness. And love ourselves, all parts to the whole, the healer and the harmer, the separator and the uniter, the dignifier and the diviner. Love, 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 fierce and messy, tender and kind. Feel the tremor? It's an aftershock. Pandemic that has rocked us to our core. And still shouts just a little more. We are wondering, grieving, listening, standing upright, becoming Homo sapien, wise being. Homo sapien, wise being, awaken. Homo sapien, wise being, awaken. Homo sapien, wise being, awaken to love. Let's affirm our path back to oneness together. Together, I wonder, grieve, listen, stand up, and reimagine. Our consciousness flowers in diverse expressions of oneness, and so it is. Blessings.
So thank you. It was, I love the message and the poem at the end to hear that really come to life. Kristen actually wrote that poem and it was beautiful. So thank you. And I look forward to seeing everyone tonight at the visual for the Asian Americans and the Pacific Islanders. So whether you have a joy or concern on your heart today, our prayer chaplains are available to provide prayer support during our virtual patio conversation after the service. You may also contact them by completing a connection card on the Watch Live page or click on prayer requests at the bottom of the home page. Our prayer team will be praying with you throughout the week.
And now let's open our hearts to the practice of giving. Our spiritual home thrives on your generosity. And I invite you now to prepare your gifts in whatever ways you'd like to do that, to align with the universal law of circulation. As we give, so we receive. In truth, we know there is no lack or limitation. Abundance is our true nature.
In addition to sending checks through the regular mail or direct deposit from your bank, there are two ways to give online. You may click on the Donate button on the Watch Live page or download the Give app, and Give is spelled G-Y-V-E.
I will never spell give correctly again. I invite you to repeat our prosperity affirmation with me now. Together, divine love, one with me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am joy-filled and grateful.
Been reaching out for something you can't hold in your hands. People say I'm dreaming, dreamers understand. No, there is a reason, there's got to be a plan. We will watch with wonder when enemies join hands. Oh, look ahead, not behind. It's ours, yours, and mine. Oh, give love and trust time. Teach peace for all mankind. Searching for the answer that's been knocking at my door. Try asking for a little less, try to give a little more. The outcome may surprise you once so easily ignored. Peace is found inside yourself. Open up that door. Look ahead, not behind. It's ours, yours, and mine. No, give love and trust time. Teach peace for all mankind. Challenges are endless. Love's a noble task. Move beyond the everyday, 'cause time is moving fast. Find the truth inside yourself, hatred in your past. Together we'll make peace on earth, reality that lasts. So look ahead, not behind. It's ours, yours, and mine. Oh, give love and trust time. Teach peace for mankind. Look ahead, not behind. It's ours, yours, and mine. Oh, give love and trust time. Teach peace for mankind. Look ahead, not behind. It's ours, yours, and mine. Oh, give love and trust time. Teach peace for mankind. Teach peace for
We always want to support our musicians, so a big heartfelt thanks to Karie Hillery. You can learn more about Karie and her music at karie.com. And now, as we bless our offerings, we bless both the giver and the gift, that it may go forth and multiply and increase all of our abundance, as well as the good through our ministry. So let's bless the offerings together. Together, we give thanks for the ever-increasing, constant flow of absolute good in our lives now. Let's bless our essential workers.
Oh, yes. Let's bless our essential workers. Essential workers, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divine light within you.
And we're blessing our farmers also because it's Farm Workers Awareness time. So that's why it says farmers on your blessing. So we bless the farmers, we bless
Yes.
essential workers, and we bless Asian American Pacific Islanders as well.
Yes.
So children meet every Sunday at 10 a.m., as you probably well know by now, on Zoom. They've been in a process of interfaith lessons, and I think today Maddie and Millie are going to tell us something about spring. Let's take a look.
Hi, Unity. It's Maddie and Millie. And it's spring, so we get to show you our spring spell. And yesterday was spring equinox. Yeah. So first for the spell, don't need some love. Yeah. And then get the seeds of hope. Now get one seed of hope. And put a hole in your pot of love and cover it up. What do you have hope for, Millie? That Mom and Dad got the vaccines and our teachers. And I have hope for us going back to school in the afternoon. Now next, we water it with faith. Yeah, see, with faith. So now, let's send it some love and prayers. Blessings! Yeah, blessings! We glue blessing blossoms. Bye, Unity. Happy spring.
See how quick it is. That was lovely. No, it wasn't. Yeah, you're right. There was a little magic, something that went on there, huh? Grace Hyder is with us this morning, our goddaughter, and she got to tune in to the kids' lesson as well. So let's bless our children, our youth, and teachers together. Together, children, youth, and teachers, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divine light within you. Please join me now in saying the prayer of protection, and as we do, let's hold all of humanity, all life, in mind together.
The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is. I am divine. And so it is.
Stick around until the end of the service. We have community member selfies that you won't want to miss. We have been online for 1 year, so it's time for more. Please send your selfies or silent waving videos to office@unityofwalnutcreek.org.
And now, our peace song. You are the light and the love and the peace on earth right now.
So let your light shine.
Have fun and spread joy.
I shine, feet dance, heart sing, when given a chance, spirit loves to dance, spirit loves to dance, that's right, spirit loves to dance, spirit loves to dance, we're gonna do it again, spirit loves to dance, spirit loves to dance, you got it, spirit loves to dance, spirit loves to dance, I shine, feet dance, heart sing, when given a chance, here goes, spirit loves to dance, spirit loves to dance, spirit loves to dance, spirit loves to dance, one more time, spirit loves to dance, spirit loves to dance, that's right, spirit loves to dance, spirit loves to dance, I shine, feet dance, heart sing, when given a chance, spirit loves to dance, 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 spirit loves to dance. Last time, here we go. I shine, feet dance, heart sing, when given a chance, spirit loves to dance, spirit loves to dance, yes, spirit loves to dance, 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 spirit loves to dance.
Unity.